everyone. Okay, let's take a minute for everyone to get in. Really great to see you all today. Whew. All right. Let's get on the mat today. And we're gonna start today with simply getting into the neck and shoulders, and there isn't much more to it than just, these are the kind of places where you gather the most tension simply because of the way we spend our time at work, right? Sitting at our desks and often not having those, perfect ergonomic setups at work. I know for myself, because very often my chair is just a table, like a dining table chair, or sometimes a stool without like a proper support for my wrists. Sometimes even working from a sofa or an armchair, and that all means that my neck is constantly strained, my shoulders are creeping up, wrist doesn't have any support. And the moves that we're going to do at the beginning, these are just some moves that you can actually do every day. I do them myself at the beginning of the day when I get up and do my journaling and stuff. Before I get into it, I usually just sit down in a cross-legged seat and do a couple of those movements to actually release the tensions that gathers. And this is super cool to actually do every day because it doesn't take much time, but it definitely prevents you from headaches and migraines and getting to those points when your body hurts so much that you actually can't figure out any new ideas or have some positive feedback to anything that is happening in your life because there's actually so much tension in your pain. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to move through a little sequence to get through other parts of our bodies. So today it's really about just getting into that movement to take a break from the day. It's not going to be a very long practice, but it's going to be just enough to have that kind of pause, stop everything that was happening at work, just really stop these thoughts, pause them for this moment. We're going to start with breathing so that your mind can settle. We need to switch our attention, so then when you get back, you will actually feel this, I had a break, I had a proper break, and now I can get back into my busy work. So let's get into it. If you've been in a cross leg for a while, just change the legs so that we have it a little bit balanced. And let's close the eyes for the beginning, wherever you are, wherever you arrived. And then take a breath through the nose. You can close the lips here. And then as you breathe, deep inhale, the breath goes down all the way to the belly. And then it goes up and out. Feel that breath. Notice that direction when it goes in and then out. And then let's take a moment to bring some attention to our cross-legged seat. So your feet touch the ground, you can feel your sit bones on the ground, you can even wiggle your knees from side to side. Press down through your feet, your sit bones lengthen. See if you can stretch your spine, reach the crown of the head a little bit taller, and then with the exhale, drop the shoulders. Try to relax the whole part of your upper back, almost feeling it like sliding down as you exhale. And then for the next moment, with the next breath, bring your attention to your hips. And then with the exhale, imagine if there is any tension or any restriction in that space. With the exhale, you just let it go. So your knees, your glutes can just fall towards the ground. It's almost like that exhale, like at the snap of your fingers, you're just saying no more tension. I don't want to sit cramped like that. I open up. Okay, let's bring the hands up, reaching up. Feel the sides of the body stretching. Ooh, my spine is cracking. And then interlace the fingers, bring them behind the head. And let's move the head up and down. So as it comes down, your shoulder blades go away from each other. And then when you inhale, you squeeze the shoulder blades, open the elbows. Start with a small movement. Getting your head, your neck, your shoulder blades used to this line of movement. And your head, as it goes up and down, you can just rest against your hands, no extra pressure. Opening and closing here through your elbows and your shoulder blades. And then take one more breath, open to inhale, exhale to close. And then release the hands, keep your eyes closed, and then lift your chin towards the right shoulder, looking over to the right, and then nose goes down and to the left. So we're kind of trying to get into those sides of the neck, going from one side to the other. And then see if you feel any tension, any pain. If you do experience that, you can stay in the space where you feel it for a little bit longer. See if you can make that movement a little bit longer and shorter, breathing. Almost like you were trying to figure out, how can I release this pain with the movement and the breath if I stay here for a little while. And if it goes away, keep extending that movement or changing it in a different direction until you find a new point and do exactly the same. So maybe you lift your head up, maybe you keep it down, maybe you change the direction, doing circles or diagonal lines. Explore here to find all those different places where tension might gather. And then as you do so, notice that sometimes your body can start drawing down towards the ground, rounding the shoulders. So press through the sit bones to lengthen again, to open the body up. Maybe lifting the chin up, doing some half circles at the top, noticing if there is any tension or something coming up at the front of your neck. And doing exactly the same, moving with the breath, finding those spaces, staying there for a little bit. Some small or bigger movements, and then progressively releasing. So this is the kind of practice that I would do for like 3, maybe 5 minutes in the morning. Because once you get into your cross-legged seat and you start moving through your head and your neck, you feel something in one place, you work it out, you move to another place, you work it out. So it will just simply inform your own practice. You really don't need much guidance. You can just follow here from feeling to feeling until you let go of all those tensions. So this is a really practical one that you can do on your own. Then maybe drawing the head again up and down, looking to the side, checking in. And then we're going to come back to the center, open the eyes, release the hands. Inhale, lift the hands up, and then bring the right hand down, bend over to the right. Let's get just into some side stretches. Inhale, both hands up, and then left hand down, bending over to the left. And then let's do one more time each side. Inhale, lift, and then down. And then again, lift. And then back down. And then lift back to the center. And then both hands down. I'm going to turn to face short edge of the mat because I don't have a space behind. And now check in which leg is at the front. I have a left. So I'm just going to slide that left leg behind me. My legs are stacked in a stack shape. So the front one is at the kind of parallel to the short edge, but it doesn't have to be, super direct. I'm sitting here in this stack feet. There we go. And then we're going to reach to the back, the other side, to find the twist. So we're looking for the twist to the right. Notice if your spine is speaking to you here. Mine is already cracking. Then lifting back up. Bring these legs a little bit closer, and then then pressing through the right hand in, we're gonna lift the hips, lift the hand up, and then back down. And let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. And then 1 more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, back down. And now sitting in that shape that you were, I'm twisting again so you can see what we're doing. Bring your hands either side of your top leg, and then your right leg would be at the front. We're gonna bend down, and then lift the chest back up, and then 1 more. Up, and then 1 more time down, and then back up. And then bringing the left leg back to the front, and then we're gonna swap for the right leg at the front. Let's do a couple of circles with the chest going in a one direction, starting small. Keep pressing your sit bones down on the ground, and let's reverse it the other side. And now the right leg is at the front, so we're gonna bring it all the way back. Legs are stacked here. I'm gonna turn to have more space. And then we turn over behind the left for the left shoulder to do a bit of a twist, leaning down, stretching the spine, and then coming back up. You can bring the feet a little bit closer. Left hand is behind you. Squeeze your glutes, push the hips, lift, and then back down. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. And then 1 more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, down. Let's turn to the left leg at the front, hands either side, and then bowing down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. And then inhale up. And 1 more time down. And inhale. Ooh, let's come back to the center, back to cross-legged seat. And then rolling through the legs, hands to the front of the mat, and then step back to plank. We're getting into a strong plank. Gaze is down, elbows tucked under, press to the balls of your feet. Stay here in a strong plank. I still have my socks on, so I'm going to take them off. As next up, we will be going into downward facing dog. So feet grip will be quite nice to have. There we go. From the plank on the exhale, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. You can keep both legs bent, and then just bend 1 knee at a time. And when you press down through the heels of your hands, so that you can open the chest to your thighs, finding the stretch to your hands, your armpit, and then start walking your feet to the top of the mat, 1 step at a time. When you pull your heels down, you can feel that stretch through the back of your legs, and then roll it up to standing. Inhale, lift the hands up, look up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, fold. We'll go for vinyasa. Inhale, lift halfway, gaze down, long neck. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step to plank. Strong plank, heels to the back of the mat, tailbone is stacked under. Drop the knees, bend the elbows, chest down. Inhale, lift the chest, cobra. Shoulders down. Exhale, bow down. Curl your toes under, pressing to the hands. And then lift the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Keep breathing. And then walk your feet back to the top. Okay, we're gonna repeat that sun salutation 1 more time. For now, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up, raising your hands. Exhale, fold down. Lift halfway, gaze down. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step to plank. Knees down, bend the elbows, chest down. Lift the head, the chest, cobra, shoulders away from the ears, and exhale, bow.
Press through the hands, lift up, downward facing dog. Let's take 2 long breaths. As you inhale, the breath goes down to your belly. And exhale, it goes back to your chest and out through the nose. Inhale, bring it down to the belly. Exhale, out. Bend the knees, look to the top. Let's walk forward. And then lift it up to standing, hands up. And then release the hands down to your chest, one hand on the top of the other. Close your eyes. Feel your feet pressing down on the mat. Feel your heart beating here. Notice the warmth when you're touching your chest. Notice the pace of your heartbeat as well. Shoulders are away from the ears. Long breath out. Keep breathing. And then slowly release your hands down. You can open your eyes. And then as you inhale, lift your hands up. And then lift your right knee up. We're going to cross the right ankle here across your left knee. Open that ankle. Open that knee. So your shin here is pressing on the top, just above your knee, right? That ankle, you don't want it to press on the knee. You want it slightly higher. We are standing on the straight leg. And then we're going to send the hips down, coming into like a one leg chair pose, checking in how it feels. You can even release the hands on your legs, rock it side to side. Keep breathing. And then inhale, lift back up, right leg up. And then we're going to step that leg back. It doesn't have to be far. Just notice where it lands. Then we're in a high lunge. If you just bend the knee a little bit farther, back leg is extended. We are in a high lunge. Let's take it. And then twist to the left, opening the hands parallel to the ground, squeezing your thighs to the center to have the balance here. And then let's come back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Ooh, it can get wobbly here. Keep squeezing the legs so you don't end up like me. Exhale, back, center. Okay, let's do it one more time without the wobbles. Squeezing to the center, the thighs. Feet are pressing down, open, twist. Okay, back to center, inhale. And on the exhale, step the right leg forward, fall down. Inhale, lift all the way up. Squeeze your glutes, push the hips forward, maybe reach the hands to the back of the mat. Exhale, fall down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fall down. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fall down. Inhale, lift. This time left leg comes up, left knee lifts, and then cross your left ankle on the top of the right right thigh, just above the knee. Whoop. Right foot is pressing down to the ground. And then we're going to send that hip down, kind of a chair pose. You can release the hands, release them on your leg, rock it from side to side here. You know, if it feels intense, you can always step the foot down for a moment and then come back. We just want to keep opening that left knee. You can always press with the hands here to help yourself a little bit. And then inhale, lift back up, left knee comes up. And then step it behind you, wherever it lands, doesn't have to be far. Let's find a very narrow high lunge, bending into the front leg. And then on the exhale, open for a twist. So let's find that shape in a twist. Both feet are pressing firmly down. We are squeezing the thighs to the center. And then we're going to move. Inhale to forward. Exhale to twist. Inhale forward. Exhale, twist. 2 more. Inhale forward. And then back to twist. Keep pressing down to your feet. And then 1 more time forward. And then exhale, twist. Oopsie. Back forward. And then lean forward, step the foot up. Hands are up, inhale. Exhale, fold down. 2 more like this. Inhale, lift up. Almost like you're trying to stretch your back, lifting up. Exhale, fold down. And then 1 more time, inhale, lift. And exhale, fold down. Okay, let's lift it. And then release your hands. And then we're gonna fold them. Start sending your hips down. We actually want to make it all the way down to the ground. So go with the hips as far as it goes, and when you reach your limit, you can help yourself with the hand behind you, so we can actually get down to the ground. And then hands are either side. Tuck the tailbone under, and let's release it super slow. So as slow as it's possible for you. Like when you roll the tailbone under, almost feel that middle back and lower back, everything releasing down to the ground. The thing is that when you start paying attention to all those little elements of your body and the feelings and how everything is changing, this is actually the trick that gets you to focus on the practice and stop thinking about your work, about all the problems with your product that you are going through right now, about all the challenge that you have with your social media, communication plans and marketing strategies. You actually get so detail oriented and almost technical in your movement, not for the becoming such an expert or geeking it or anything like that, but it's actually the way to show your mind that it can focus on something else to such details. And because it's so detailed, it actually gets into it, so you stop thinking about all this other stuff. So it's super interesting to bring that focus onto those all little things and see how it actually allows you to let go of the thoughts that normally maybe when you are in bed at 2 a.m. and trying to fall asleep, they don't let go, right? But you notice that in that kind of practice, there's actually no other space for the thoughts, and you do get focused on these little things with the movement. Like with this next thing that we're just gonna do. So bring your knees into your chest, and then lift your heels up. So we're in a kind of an L shape. And then we're going to drop the right heel down, so the left is pressing up to the ceiling, right heel is reaching towards the ground, but we don't drop it. Squeeze to your center here. Your tailbone is tucked under. When you squeeze your glutes, you can actually feel them pressing on the ground, right? And then bring the right foot back up. And now let's release the left. Hands are just resting on the ground. We're not pressing through the hands, we're just working through the legs. And then right leg back down. Hold it there. And then lift it back up. And then left down. Reach the heel down. Foot is flexed. Right foot is reaching up to the ceiling. Okay, bring the left back in. Let's do it one more each leg. Right foot down. Squeeze your center. Lift back up. And then left one down. Okay, now both feet are to the ground. And we're going to start dropping both legs down towards the ground. So really tuck the tailbone under and stay strong here through the core. So you really want to think about how your lower back, your hips, your glutes are touching the mat. And that's what you want to maintain as you lower it all the way down until you drop the heels down. Ooh, alright. We can definitely feel, okay, I don't know about you, I can definitely feel it here. In the core, in the lower belly. Okay, let's bend the knees. And then drop it from one side to the other. Moving your knees from right to left. I always feel as well that when we move here the legs from left to right, and you keep your glutes on the ground and you press them down, it's almost like a little massage because you can feel those muscles going through the mat from one side to the other. So it's a really good one here as well. Okay, bring the knees back to the center. Bring them to your chest, squeeze the knees in. You can even open them wide. And then feeling that lower back and your glutes on the ground. It's also really nice to rock from one side to the other. Okay, let's do just a little twist, dropping the knees to the right. Left shoulder and the shoulder blades are on the ground. So you want to keep almost like a T shape with your arms. And then if you feel that that left side is lifted, just slide the knees a little bit lower down. Let's take 2 breaths here. And one more. And then bring the knees back a little bit up and to the center. So we are making our core work a little bit. And then drop the knees to the left side. Again, if you feel your right shoulder lifting, you can slide the knees up. Let's take 2 breaths here. Feel the right side of your ribcage expanding. And then one more time, inhale. And exhale. Bring the knees back to the center. Squeeze them to your chest. And then release the feet. Extend your legs out long. Finding the final resting shape, Shavasana. Press through the back of the head to lift your shoulder blades. Then connect them and drop them back to the ground. Separate your tongue from the roof of your mouth. And then relax your cheeks, your cheekbones, your chin and forehead. Relaxing the whole face. And with the exhale, also drop the shoulders down. Your job here for next 10 breaths is to stay in complete stillness. Being here, but feeling like this body wasn't yours anymore. You could feel it on the ground, but you don't move it. Let go of any physical sensations, if there are any itches, or you feel like you really want to move your toe. Don't. See what it's like to actually decide that you're not going to move. And breathe. fingers and the toes. You can squeeze open your palms. And then reach the hands up and above the head. You can point and flex your feet. And bring the hands back either side. And you can roll over to the right side. Let's take a moment there. Just that final moment of rest, the transition between being in the movement and using that movement to get our mind to focus there. Before slowly our mind feels back with all this other stuff we are working through in our day. Just feel that transition. So that practice, when you move with the breath, it's always there for you to take the break, especially for your mind. And especially in the busy days when you've got loads going on. And it's actually the more you have going on, the more you should think about coming back to this practice to give your mind that moment of pause. Let's get back to a seated shape. I'm going to close this practice together. You can arrive in any seat. I'm going to get back to a cross-legged where we started. Your hands can rest on your knees or you can bring it to your chest. Let's take one breath together. Inhale through the nose. And long exhale out. There we go. Release your hands. Open your eyes. We are at the end of our practice. Thank you so much everyone who joined today. Great to see you on the mat like every week. And I hope that you can take back especially those moves that we did with the head and neck, bit of shoulders as well, because that's the one I would definitely get into a daily routine. You know, even if it's not at the beginning of your day, if there is a moment where you are standing or waiting in between something, rather than flicking between the tabs on your laptop when you're waiting for something to load or even reaching for your phone, that's the kind of moment when you can do those neck and shoulder stretches, which are really, really good to release the tension. And I hope that you can also find some time to come back to this movement practice. But anyway, nice to see you everyone, and I see you again next week. Bye everyone.